Blue 58! Blue 58! Go!
First and 10, let's do it again. Hi, I am Dr. Alan Sokoloff, your host for another edition of First and 10. And just like all the other ones in the past, we're going to try to make this as informative as possible. It's called First and 10 because on the first of every month, we try to release a 10-minute, which seems to drag on to a little bit longer than that, informational video with some of the personalities, some of the stars, some of the practitioners, some of the people that make it happen, not only in professional football, but all around the sports world. And we have the Professional Football Chiropractic Society to thank for putting this together. And just a reminder, March 5th and 6th in Indianapolis, 2021 at the Hyatt Hotel. We'll be putting on another rendition of our Sports Science Symposium with a lot of surprises, a lot of special guests. Last year sold out, pretty wild time. If you were there, you know, and if you have not been there, you need to get there. All you have to do is go to the Professional Football Chiropractic Society Facebook page or profootballchiros.com. Special thanks to Script Hesco, China Gel, Pulsed Energy, and Multi-Radiance for making that seminar and so much more happen. And thanks to you for joining us. So my special guest today is no stranger to the Professional Football Chiropractic Society. Why? Because impromptu, just on a whim, asked him to join us, and it was one of the most informative sessions that we've had in a while. I want to welcome to the First and 10, let's do it again, microphone, Collin Francis. Collin, welcome to Talking Back.
Hey, Dr. Sokoloff, thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate it. Thank you to the Professional Football Chiropractor Society for putting this on. Like you said, I was fortunate enough to be there in Indy last year, and it was such a great experience. First, I love that you guys include the chiropractic students in your symposium. I think that's awesome. I think it shows an investment in the future of chiropractic, which is phenomenal. I also appreciate being included myself.
Well, it wouldn't have been complete without you. So you have quite an extensive history. I'm not going to get into all of it because some of the questions that I have are around it. But currently, we can say that you're one of the athletic trainers with the Baltimore Ravens, correct?
Yes. I'm an assistant athletic trainer for the Baltimore Ravens. I'm one of the very few members of the Professional Football Athletic Trainers Society who gets to live where he grew up. So I'm extremely fortunate.
Yeah, pretty exciting. You're a PG County guy. You spent time at the University of Maryland. You spent time at the University of Delaware. You spent time at Clemson. You spent time at Maryland. You spent time at Morgan State University, where we got to meet each other. And you know what? If you're in the sports world and you're someone like Collin, you never lose. Like, one of your teams has got to win, and Collin's always repping gear from different places. But much more about that. So Collin, First and 10, let's do it again. This is the time that we're going to ask 4 random questions that aren't so random. And I'm going to ask you to be HIPAA compliant, which I know I don't have to ask you. But a couple things, and then we can expand on them. So the first question is going to be, what was your most challenging case that you were involved with at any level that you yourself played a major role, and you went home that night and said, gosh darn it, that was me, along with everybody else? And believe me, we understand about sports medicine. It is all about team. But every once in a while, you know, you get one of those cases where you're like, I made a difference today. Do you have one of those stories?
Oh, yeah, and I'll tell you, it comes immediately to mind. We had a running back at Indiana University where I was the director of rehab. I was also the head football athletic trainer for a little bit, but we had a running back who dislocated his elbow. Immediately, I was there on scene to help him. We took care of the initial injury evaluation, figured out that we needed to transport him to our upper extremity physician. So we got the splint on him. It was going to be too long to wait for any kind of transport. So we threw him in my car with the splint on, boom, straight to the Bloomington Bone and Joint, our doctor's office.
Wow.
One of our doctors handled the injury, and I got to do all of the rehab for it. Now, fast forward, the running back has a great career in the NFL, gets drafted, and that was the penultimate experience in my career so far. You know, nobody in the sports medicine team does it for the thank yous. Nobody does it for the notoriety. We're behind the scenes, and I like it that way. But the only thanks I needed was to see him succeed. There's no better feeling than helping somebody achieve their goals. And the fact that I got to take an active role in it, I mean, you can't beat it.
Right. So true. So along those lines, there are a lot of chiropractors that have had trouble getting involved with different teams, not just professional, but collegiate and clubs and stuff like that. So, and I think in your last story, you brought up so many things that there are a lot of people in other professions don't get on how valuable an athletic trainer is, how much training an athletic trainer has. So I commend you for what you do and how you do it. And I know that's just a small sample size of everything you do. So second down is, tell me your most challenging professional interaction with another healthcare provider. Because, you know, we're all rah team and let's get this person better. But sometimes we have different opinions. And sometimes now it could be one of those stories where, like, see, I told you, but you know, there are conflicts that come up. Now, I will say I have loved every second of the last 20 plus years with the Baltimore Ravens. I have never had one of those. I can come up with some from other experiences. So second down, a professional conflict that you may have had, and how did you resolve it?
For sure. First, I want to kind of change the conversation about the word conflict. You know, if you look at a tree or two trees next to each other, when the branches come together and hit, they find a way to grow around each other and continue on their path. They don't just stop. They don't just turn the other direction. They don't just completely miss the tree. They hit, they find a way to grow, and they continue their growth. And that's how I think conflict, especially in the sports medicine team, should be addressed. Listen, chiropractors, athletic trainers, physical therapists, strength and conditioning coaches, mental health clinicians, registered dietitians, we all have different skill sets that overlap somewhat. So it's important that all aspects are considered when you're treating these patients, right? So a chiropractor could look at an image and see one thing. Oh, I need to start manipulating. I need to start adjusting. I need to boom, boom, boom. An athletic trainer might look at that same exact image and say, hey, let's cool it down. Let's ice. Let's rest. Let's figure out how we can brace it. Physical therapist might think something else. The dietitian is looking at an image saying, hey, we need to get more collagen. We need to get more hydration. So it's important that all aspects are incorporated into complete healthcare.
Good point.
For the chiropractors who are trying to get involved in sports, trying to get involved in athletics, that's the one thing they got to keep in mind is we have to include everybody in it. Now, as far as difficult situations, difficult conversations amongst the staff, first, sharing an office with you here at the Ravens is probably the most difficult I have. He's got both his tables in my office here, and I love seeing Dr. Sok when he comes in. But professionally, I think the solution is all communication.
Yep.
If
Amen.
You're an athletic trainer and you believe strongly about something, or if you've made a clinical decision, explain it. There's no reason why, as healthcare providers, you can't give all of your evidence-based medicine and explain to the other clinicians what's going on. I think a little bit of communication on the front end can save a lot of confusion on the back end. And that is I think, key. We got to take a step back. Remember, it's not about us. It's all about the patient.
Awesome.
And as soon as we can get our heads around that and communicate effectively, I think it's smooth sailing.
Awesome. Great job. Didn't answer the question, but I think the tangent that you went on was better than the question. So I'm not denying it. All right, third down.
You're
Here's
not
a
supposed to
tough
call
one.
me out like that.
Here's a tough one because I know your history. I know some of the people that you've worked with. You spent time with the Chargers and James Collins. You spent time with the Panthers and Ryan Vermillion, who were both very good friends with you. Spent time with one of the best in Darryl Conway, who's now at Michigan. You spent time with him at Maryland. But who of those, or of all the people, you spent international time? So with swimming, and who'd have thought you were a swimmer? But with all those people in your life, is there one that you say that's the person that made a difference in making me pursue what I do today, what I am today, and what I'm going to be tomorrow?
Well, it's great that you mentioned his name, and that's an easy answer. His name is Darryl Conway. I chase him every single day that I come to work. I went to Eleanor Roosevelt High School in Greenbelt, Maryland, which is a science and tech magnet school. In your senior year, you have to do a research practicum paper. With it, you either do an internship or just have a mentor. So, of course, high school senior, let me go to school half day. At that point, I wanted to be a plastic surgeon. So I said, let me do my project, my senior year project on anatomy. So out of the blue, my sister was a women's soccer player. So I said, let me do the project on the difference in the anatomy of males and females, which leads to more frequent ACL tears in females. Now, of course, well studied at this point, we know it, but for a high schooler, pretty good project. I cold emailed Darryl Conway my junior year of high school and said, hey, I just need a mentor, someone to sign off once a month and teach me a little bit. Darryl sent me an email back that said, no, if you're going to do this, if you want to learn about athletic training, you're going to do it the right way. You're going to come in before school, after school, on weekends, and really be exposed to this field. I remember sitting on the ACC Swimming and Diving Championships 2006 at University of Maryland College Park with Darryl, working the event and picking his brain. And I knew at that point what I wanted to do with my career. He went to University of Delaware. I was fortunate enough to go to University of Delaware. There are 10 athletic trainers in the National Football League, all from University of Delaware.
Nice.
After Delaware, Darryl worked at the Jets. He knew James Collins. He got me the internship in San Diego as a sophomore in 2008. He spoke to Clemson about me for grad school. One of his very first jobs was the head football athletic trainer at Morgan State, which was also my first job post-internship. So Darryl has been life-changing. He has helped me more than I can ever explain, and I am extremely thankful for the exposure I've had to him as a professional and as a mentor. Now, that's not to say that he also wasn't the first to kick me when I was messing up and call me on my nonsense. But he always did it out of love. And still to this day, I'm in contact with him and I look for him for knowledge. I can't explain enough what he's done for me.
Yeah, Darryl is one of the best, and I had the privilege of working with him at Maryland, and also he's been a guest of the Professional Football Chiropractic Society on a couple occasions. One of my favorite guys in the world too. So,
Yeah.
So great answer number there. That was third down. So we're gonna go to fourth down, and fourth down, I think I'm gonna let you talk a little bit on what does the future look like for athletic training. There have been so many battles. I know here in Maryland, I was involved in testifying for athletic training for licensure. I know they're trying to come up with a definition of what an athlete is, and aren't we all athletes? Because I think one of the biggest problems in our profession as healthcare professionals is there are many of us that don't understand the value of an athletic trainer. They don't understand the educational background that an athletic trainer gets. And until they do, I don't think they have the respect that I do and other chiropractors that are involved, at the professional or collegiate level for the amount of work that has to be done, the behind the scenes things, the triage and everything else. So what in your opinion is the future of athletic training?
Great question. And I could go on for probably hours about
You
that.
only get 2 minutes.
Well, first, what's the one thing everybody sees about athletic training? They see when somebody gets hurt on game day, they run out there and look at it. They don't know they're athletic trainers. Most people think those are all physicians, right? The next thing, oh, you're that guy that gives water. Yes, I am. And I'm proud to help our players with hydration. But I think the future in athletic training is to be the leaders of the sports medicine team. As we move to a more patient-centered model and a more medical model in athletic facilities, it's important that there's someone who understands strengthening, understands acute care, understands long-term care, general illnesses. We do everything from cuts and scrapes to ACL rehab and evaluation. So there's really nobody better than an athletic trainer to lead the team of strength and conditioning coaches, dietitians, chiropractors, athletic trainers, physical therapists, massage therapists, wellness professionals. There's nobody, no other field in healthcare that encompasses it all besides athletic training.
Right.
So to me, the future is to be the top of the pyramid, that the person making the decisions for the patients. That's where athletic trainers thrive, and that's where the future needs to be. We are innovative, we are creative, and we think fast on our feet. This current pandemic has really showed that there are certain restrictions and certain losses in policy. And they gave those restrictions and losses to a group of athletic trainers who have really risen to the top to succeed.
Right. I can't imagine all the extra, I can't imagine all the extra work that's done. With the pandemic, but I think you brought up a really good point too. And a lot of people in other healthcare professions that want to get involved in sports don't realize that there is nobody in that building. There is nobody on a university campus. There is nobody working with any team that understands a player, that lives with the players, that is spending 24/7 with those players than the athletic trainers. And for me, one of the biggest things that I do is try and educate other healthcare providers that, like you said earlier, it's great to share the information, but at the end of the day, those players are not your patients. They're not in your office. You're going to somebody else's office, somebody else's house where they get to make the decision. So great answer. So, all right, we're going to go to overtime. We have 2 minutes left and we really don't, but I want to give you the opportunity to take on what you just encompassed with everything that you talked about. And I want you to talk about BASH, because when I first heard about it, I was excited. And there's going to be people here that are listening from all over the country that, you can give out your number, you do whatever you want, but that are going to have questions about what you have done to this point and what you plan to do into the future regarding this acronym BASH. So in the next couple minutes, tell us a little bit about it and where people may be able to get more information.
Awesome. Yeah. So BASH is the Baltimore Area Sports Health Initiative. We are a nonprofit organization based in Baltimore, and our mission is to advance the healthcare for athletes in the Baltimore area. We define athletes from youth athletes to high school athletes to pro and college athletes to forever athletes, which are all of us. And the first thing that BASH does is it's a comprehensive sports health network. So a network of like-minded individuals, athletic trainers, chiropractors, physical therapists, registered dietitians, every facet of sports health. And it's about sharing knowledge, sharing information, and in turn, getting better. The second thing we're doing is raising awareness of the different facets of sports health for the community. So everybody wants to compare themselves to Adrian Peterson, right? Adrian Peterson came back from his knee surgery so fast. Every athlete out there wants to do that. But Not every athlete has an athletic trainer, a physical therapist, a strength coach, a mental health coach, a great orthopedic physician, a strength coach dealing with return to play. Nobody has the resources that he had. So it's how can we make everyone in the community aware of the sports health resources that are needed to succeed at this level, and how can they be applied at different levels with different resources. I think it's super important that everyone understands here at the professional level what goes into success and what can be replicated. If you want to find out more about BASH, please www.baltimoreathletehealth.org. On there is all of the social media information to interact. I encourage everyone to join the Sports Health Network. As a member of the network, it's free to join. All you're getting is free knowledge. The newsletter will be based off information that is useful to many different avenues. So, catapult, wearables. Athletic trainer sees the information, thinks one thing. Strength and conditioning coach can look at that same information and get another piece out of it. I think that's important to highlight. Professionals working together to achieve the same goal only aids in patient success.
You know what? Daryl would be very proud of you, and I know he's excited about the whole initiative. So, Collin, again, thank you so much for taking the time, and it's great that you did this. And as far as Daryl goes, Daryl was the last one to get me, gear that I could rep, and now I can proudly rep it as my daughter Maury signed her letter of intent, to play soccer at the University of Maryland, where I did a lot of my college training as well. So thank you for mentioning him. Thank you for taking the time to join us today on First and 10. Let's do it again. Just a reminder, the Professional Football Chiropractic Society will be meeting March 5th and 6th live and in person so far at the Hyatt downtown Indianapolis 2021 in conjunction with our Sports Science Symposium. For more information, go to the Professional Football Chiropractic Society Facebook page, web page. Get all that information. Make sure you register quick, because we sold out last time, and we just want more and more people coming back. Maybe we'll even get Collin to come back and join us again. So join us next month for another edition of First and 10. Let's do it again. I'm Dr. Sok, and we are out.